Why we have so many divorces is because people lack ubuntu. There's so much of self. As long as things go according to my way, then I'm married to myself. We confuse leadership for bossing. You shut up as a woman. One of the challenges I see many a times is people who want to be married, but they want to act like single people. It doesn't work. You have a responsibility. Be a man, I know shouting, but be a man by pure leadership. We need a lot of premarital counseling. What we lack is premarital counseling. We prepare for the wedding and we don't prepare for the marriage. Unfortunately, the wedding day is only a one-day event and the marriage is a lifelong event. So people get ready for a one-day event and they never get ready for the lifelong journey.
I wanted to thank you for the work that you are doing.
Thank you.
I follow you on social media and I can see you traveling the whole country, trying to put couples together.
Yeah.
Trying to build a family, trying to inspire people to do it the right way.
Yeah.
For people who don't know who you are, who are you?
I'm a community psychologist. I'm a marriage and family therapist. I specialize on marriages and relationships. So basically on a daily basis, I'm in consultations. I'm dealing with couples, individuals that are going through the most in relationship issues. Times, the only time I get is to go out and pee. That's how it becomes. My clientele spends across South Africa, around the globe. I do consultations in the US, in the UK, Abu Dhabi, Taiwan, China, Botswana, Namibia, and the like.
So basically you're an international marriage therapist. Oh,
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I was reading an article yesterday. In 2021,
Yes, sir.
South Africa had over 18,000 divorces. And that shocked me a lot.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand why. As a young person as I am, why do you think there are so many divorces in South Africa?
The divorces are still going to continue. It's not just only in South Africa. They're still going to continue. It's because our love relationship literacy level is quite low. We all go to school to study maths, science, whatever we study, English. But there's no subject when it comes to human beings that they go to school and study on love relationships. For example, if you're a boy child, this is how you relate with a girl or a woman. If you're a woman, this is how you relate with a man. We don't know. We are skin for God. We get into relationships. We come in with our masters and PhDs, and Mcholo says, I'm going to show you sparks. So we are not prepared for relationships many a times. Before we even talk about loving someone, we don't even understand the subject of self-love. You don't love yourself, but you're looking for someone to love you. That's a disaster. That's a recipe for disaster.
Do you think maybe it's a result of where we are coming from as a black family? Maybe my dad didn't teach me how to take care of a woman, how to love a woman.
I do understand, in as much as it's a race issue, as black people, we also have got poverty problems. It's a socio-economic issue. It influences our psychology, it influences our community, our mental health and the like. But even when it comes to whites, love relationships is a subject that we seldom sit down and learn. What is love? How do you love the next human being? What is marriage? How do you sacrifice for the next person? It takes two to tango. How do we tango, the rhythm and stuff? So yeah, in as much as it does have something to do with the black community, but as an entire human race, we seldom have time to sit down and be schooled on love. People learn on finances. You want to be clued on finances if you're a career person or corporate person. We become executives. But do we get time to sit down and learn about love, emotional intelligence for God?
What is the law of a healthy marriage?
A healthy marriage, number one, is created by both parties being happy. A healthy marriage is created by democracy. It doesn't mean that, I know that I speak about democracy, you're thinking about yourself as a man. You want to be a leader in a marriage. That's great. There's a part for that. But at the end of the day, there has to be some democracy in the sense that everything is going to be fair. As long as things go according to my way, then I'm married to myself. I need to consider the next human being. We need to go back to our African philosophy of Ubuntu. Why we have so many divorces is because people lack Ubuntu. There's so much of self. And marriage cannot exist with this self. There's got to be selflessness. Think about the next person. Be open to opinions of other people. If you think you're the only person right, you are a pure narcissist. So you need to be open to hear someone else. If they say, you know what, I don't like what you do, that when you take off your clothes, you leave them lying all over. You need to be able to be sound, to understand, okay, that's off. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. Marriage calls for civilization. Many people are educated, but few people are civilized. I see many people on a daily basis during consultations shouting at each other, swearing at each other, and you realize that many a times we lack civilization.
I always thought marriage, it's all about the man. The man has to do this. The man has
Now
to
you're
do
talking.
that.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, the man, you know, like everything. I need to handle finances. I need to do the man. The man is the leader. The man is the head. But how do I find a way to bring my woman in the picture,
Strike a balance,
and build this? Because remember when we were married, when we were getting married, it was these two are one. You know. But it seems as if like I have more power in this marriage, and which feels a little bit wrong. And tomorrow when I find my wife packing up her bags and leaving, I get shocked. Like, what's happening? But how do I find a way to bring her so that we are both equal in this thing that we are trying to build?
You said you have more power. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just the essence of the power. If power is about benefiting you, then it's twisted. That's dictatorship. But once we see that power is responsibility, the power you have is to benefit whosoever is following you, then that power doesn't become negative power, it becomes positive power. So how we bring about the balance, how you bring your woman in, is to understand that by nature, as a man, your primary language is respect. That's okay. Every man who comes into my consultations, the first thing they complain about, she doesn't respect me. It's because men by nature, their primary need is respect. That's okay. So how do you make sure that your woman is taken care of? Now, this is the balanced equation. You ask me what formulates a sound, a healthy marriage. I spoke about both parties being happy. Let me further unpack it. This is what formulates a sound marriage. Men need respect, women need love. If he gets respect and she gets affection, now we have a healthy marriage. Every woman that comes into my consultations on a daily basis, the main thing they complain about is affection. He doesn't give me attention. He doesn't have time for me. He doesn't tell me I'm beautiful. He doesn't speak to me kindly. He doesn't treat me like a queen overall. So how do you bring it in? In as much as you are a leader, in as much as your primary language is respect, you need to understand that you need to communicate everything in an affectionate manner. She's looking for affection. So how do we make our leadership sound as men? Instead of going for dictatorship, let's go for servanthood leadership. The best of leaders in the world are servant leaders. Remember, I said your leadership shouldn't be about empowering yourself, you being the boss. It's about you serving other people. It's understanding that your leadership is a responsibility. Can I also talk about us as men? Another thing that causes divorces is that nobody sits us down as men to teach us about leadership. We confuse leadership for bossing. That you shut up as a woman. But this is a responsibility. It means if you are a leader, according to John Maxwell, a leadership expert, he says everything rises and falls on leadership. So if you're not in the right place, right frame of mind as a leader in the home, when it comes to finances, for example, you make poor decisions. then it means you become your wife's downfall. So you have a right to lead, but you need to understand, I need to lead in an affectionate manner. Love has got to lead. It shouldn't be dictatorship. I need to be accountable when it comes to finances. I need to be accountable when it comes to my whereabouts, because I'm no more a boy. One of the challenges I see many a times is people who want to be married, but they want to act like single people. It doesn't work. You have a responsibility. Uyindoda, be a man, I know shouting, but be a man by pure leadership, impeccable leadership. You understand you are responsible for your children. You know, I can't just up and go and tell my kids I don't have money. I brought them to this world. If I stay under a bridge, I stay with them under a bridge. But there's no allowance for walking away. So it's just a broad matter. Both parties have got to be taken care of. He's looking for respect. She's looking for affection. Then we have a healthy relationship.
We come across so many brothers of ours that have some sort of an ego that
I know.
You know, I'm not gonna go for counseling.
Yeah.
You know, nah, I can't.
I know.
That. Like, I'm a man.
I know.
I would be looking weak. You know what I mean? What are the things that are causing that man to have such ego?
I'm happy, Justice. Number one is our culture, our upbringing. Our culture is patriarchal. It supports the man. That's how it was created. Our fathers, our grandfathers, it was all about the man. Like in my culture, for example, there are certain meats a woman wouldn't eat. And when a woman communicates with a man, she bows. Oh, that's great. It's not to trash culture. Culture is beautiful, but it's got certain elements that are not good. So as we evolve, we take what is good, we eliminate what's bad. When we eat bread, but don't eat the plastic. So culture is involved here. Our upbringing, the fathers that brought us up, did they teach us to be gentlemen? One of the things that we lack in our society, we've been labeled also as trash. Men are trash. We've been labeled as trash because our upbringing, the way we've been brought up, we haven't been brought up to be gentlemen. What we lack in our society is gentlemen. We do have men, but we need is gentlemen. And this is not to say that women are perfect. There are some who are horrible, but I believe that it starts with leadership.
Yeah, it's crazy. With so many divorces happening in the country,
Yeah.
you know, people get married this weekend, next weekend they get divorced, you know, up and down. And it's sort of, you know, it makes other people to move away from marriage. And marriage is beautiful, you know. And what are the steps that we need to take to avoid a failing marriage?
You spoke about our general populace. We've got now lack of faith in marriage. People are losing faith in marriage. Number one, yes, they've seen people divorcing and they're disappointed. But the other part that we are having, we are increasingly becoming self-centered. There's a lot of self these days. I don't have time. Women don't have time to be patient with the man. A man doesn't have time to be patient with the woman. There's a lot of materialism and stuff, which is discouraging people from getting married. The people are looking for convenient means. People are less wanting to be committed. So that's where VAT and sit comes in. So what do we need to do to make sure that we have those healthy marriages? I go back to your question now. We need a lot of premarital counseling. What we lack is premarital counseling. We prepare for the wedding and we don't prepare for the marriage. Unfortunately, the wedding day is only a one-day event and the marriage is a lifelong event. So people get ready for a one-day event and they never get ready for the lifelong journey. That's the problem. And we're going to continue to have the divorces. People don't want to sit. People don't want to sit. People don't want to learn. What are you getting into? What's the role of a wife? What's the role of a husband? How do you manage finances? Now I'm giving you points on premarital counseling. When it comes to premarital counseling, we teach you about finances. What's the role of finances in a marriage? How do you handle finances? In-laws, abanye, their marriages have been destroyed by family members that have got in. How do you manage that? Parenting, sexual intimacy, communication. The number one cause of divorce is communication. 80% of my consultations, the number one problem that pops up is communication. So it's quite a lot. People have got to be prepared. So people get into marriage, abazi next. Fokor, they know nothing what they're going in there for. They just know what the wedding day is coming, so shall I step? There's going to be the Grand March. After that, what are you going to do there? What's your philosophy? What's your mission statement? This is an organization. There's no organization that can function without organization. We've got to be organized. Well, what do you like? What do you like for breakfast? What are your preferences? We got to gel. If I don't like what you like, we don't connect, we need to be honest enough to say this won't work. Let's stay out of it.
Jeez, that's crazy. Do you believe in a copy and paste marriage, whereby I'm dating my lady and I see Mr. Bakhe Dlamini? Marriage is very amazing, going out with the kids and wife, Can I take that and use it in my case?
Not really copy and paste, but modeling. There are certain things we could learn from other people. We don't have to want to discover everything on our own. Otherwise, we'd never get anywhere. It's just like in business. You don't have to say, I want to be an inventor of everything. It's okay to go to a Vusi Tembegwai, for example, to learn a few tricks. You get there quicker. You don't have to learn by mistake. They say experience is a good teacher.
That's right.
Experience at times can be a horrible teacher. So at times you could learn from other people so that you don't get yourself into trouble unnecessarily. So it's good, yes, to copy some good things. But you need to understand at the end of the day, you need to have your own autonomy, your own style, your own preferences. Yeah.
They say copy and copy well.
Yeah, copy well.
Yeah,
good.
Copy well. Let's talk about cheating. This one, it's a very sensitive, chat.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of men that don't want to talk about cheating.
I know.
It's very, very sensitive.
Yeah.
I'm sure a couple of percentage of marriages, they've been divorced. People are divorcing because of cheating.
A lot.
The man is cheating, the wife is cheating.
Yeah.
But I want to specifically talk about men.
Oh.
What are the common reasons for a man who's married to cheat?
Number one, the numbers. I'll repeat. Number one, the numbers. What causes men to cheat is the numbers. There are more women than men population-wise. So the social science says where men are confronted with numbers, they play the field. Okay, I'll give you a good example if you don't believe in that. Go to a church. In a church of 500 people, you'll find 400 women, 100 men. According to statistics, more women graduate in college than men. Most men don't stay in college. So I want you to understand also, you've got these empowered women, corporate women, who go on to lack men. And world prisons are majoritively populated by men. That's another crop that is lost in the population. Also, we die quicker as men through car accidents, heart attacks. Also, another crop of men is lost into the sector of homosexuality. So now this means when it comes to women that want a man, the chances for them to get a man become slimmer by the day. So when men are confronted with the numbers, they play the field. Then number two, there's culture. Culture says a man that cheats is soga, is a hunk, is a player, But a woman that cheats is called what? A slut. So male cheating is promoted, women cheating is trashed. Another thing that encourages cheating with men, we are physical beings. The main attraction of men is eyesight. The main attraction of women is the main entry is their ear. They've got to connect emotionally. A man has got to speak something, then she connects emotionally before she connects to sex. So for a woman, for her skirt to drop, it's not that easy. Especially now, I'm speaking about a married woman. I deal a lot with married women, married men. It's very hard for a married woman to want to cheat. It does happen. I'll explain when it happens, why it happens. It's very hard. With the women I meet on a daily basis, all they want is security. They just want to settle. They want to take care of their babies. That's the regular woman. They want to take care of their babies. They want to build an empire with their husband. But with us, in as much as we've got the great career, you're driving a big car, because you're a physical being, this troubles you. For a woman, she doesn't respond just according to eyesight. She's got to connect emotionally. So for men, at times, it could just be sex. A man could allow his erection to determine his direction. You know this thing in our zip, women might not understand. I know some people could disagree with me and be like, no, we do have feelings, we do get it. This thing in our zips, it makes it different. You understand it, you know it better. Only a man could talk. It's just a crazy thing. So a man will need to have some self-discipline. You see, you go to the mall, you see. It doesn't mean that your wife is not beautiful anymore. But we thrive as men in novelty. We look for new experiences. Something new excites us. So at times a mistake as a man you'll do, you see something new, and it's a daily struggle. Let me call it a struggle. I don't care, you're a bishop, you're a prophet, you are a CEO, I don't care, it's a daily struggle. You're at the mall, you're at work, it just, at times this thing of ours that's in our zips, you don't even need to see a woman. Waking up in the morning when the blood circulates, it's up and it's ready to go. That's a struggle that a man deals with that a woman doesn't deal with. For a woman, as I said, they need to connect, majority, they need to connect emotionally when it comes to sex. For us, anytime you've got an erection, you are ready to go. And you need to understand, according to biology, in one ejaculation, a man has got 2 million sperms. Which means in one shot, he can impregnate 2 million women. You need to understand that thing is boiling in his loins on a daily basis. Now, this is not to justify male cheating, but it's to help men understand how they are wired. That if you don't take care of this thing that makes you go crazy, and you make stupid decisions, you're going to find yourself in trouble. So we need to develop what is called contentment. Beautiful women will always be there. But you need to have contentment. You need to look, is it worth it? Compared to my family, is this thing really worth it? At the end of the day, I'll tell you, it's not worth it.
I'm trying to understand how we can, because I know we are not the same, you know.
Yeah.
Some of us, we are able to control ourselves. Some of the men out there, they can't control themselves, you know. And sometimes I don't blame us. Now, in South Africa, we've got so many beautiful women. You go to the mall, you go, there's just so many beautiful women out there. Like, you are battling with yourself.
Can I go further with that? It's tough because also there's a lot of sensuality. You go on Instagram, people are getting naked by the day. It's tough. Everywhere you turn, there's just
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
How do we control our emotions as men? Because those sort of emotions, those are emotions that women don't have.
Yeah.
We are battling with ourselves.
Yeah.
We are fighting temptation left and right.
Fighting certain demons inside.
They're pulling you,
Yeah.
you know, and you're trying to fight.
Yeah.
And you are fighting with faith and knowing that, okay, I've got faith in this woman.
Yeah.
I'm loyal to this woman.
Yeah.
How can we able to fight?
I hear you.
These forces that are pulling us.
I hear you. Number one is learning to look away. You see something that disturbs you, look away. Just keep going. The number two is contentment. Build contentment. Understand, as a man, you will never be satisfied. You'll never be satisfied. Just accept it. You've got one woman. There'll always be temptation. We always want something new. You could get 5 wives today. Even polygamy is not a solution. You could get 5 wives today. Tomorrow, you'll see another woman. You'll be like, oh. You'll just never accept that one. The sooner you embrace that one, the better. Which means that woman of yours that you have is okay for you. Whatever you meet outside there is lack of contentment. So there's got to be self-discipline. Then there's got to be, number 3, there's got to be boundaries. You need to have boundaries. You can't be flirting with everyone that gets into your WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram. We need to stay away from flirting. Have boundaries. If it's a job-related conversation, let it be a professional conversation. Be careful of flirting because it starts with flirting. Then the final one, stay away from pornography. I'll repeat, stay away from pornography. Pornography sharpens you. It sharpens you for something that you're not ready for. Okay, after you've watched pornography, then what? You'll want to go and exercise that. Your lust is heightened then what are you going to do with that lust? You'll want to go and spend it somewhere. And you know when you spend it somewhere, that's called an extramarital affair. So to minimize the lust, the pressure, mentally, physically, just stay away, mind your consumption.
Speaking on consumption, social media has become some sort of a mini.
It's sick.
Reduced. I know they're gonna.
I know it's
cut
okay.
something
It's
for
okay.
it, you know,
it's the truth.
Mini reduced some sort of a
Porn site.
Yeah,
it's a
in
porn
a
site.
way, you know.
In a way, when you get into Facebook, there are reels. Everybody's twerking. And it's like ladies have understood that if you want to push your content, your video, just be naked. If you're going to be dressed in a proper manner, it won't go. Even marketers understand. If you're going to sell a certain car, a certain drink, just have a half-naked woman somewhere, and it's going to go. Social media, I'm in agreement with you. Social media has become a mini porn site. And some will say we're being legalistic. You know, people get into like, hey, leave women alone. It's our right. But it is the truth. Go to ratings. Look at ratings. The most watched videos on social media. It's half-naked videos. Sensual videos.
It's crazy. You're half naked, but you're still naked. Ed.
You're still naked.
There's nakedness.
And we know that if you twerk a little bit, people view your videos more. If you're half naked, your ratings go up. And no one is ready to talk about that.
And that plays in the mind of a man.
Yeah, too much.
Keep on watching and watching and watching and
It
watching.
leads to porn, hardcore porn afterwards, and you're addicted. Now your wife no longer satisfies you. You want something else. It goes on and on and on.
It's some sort of like a sequence.
It's a sequence.
It's like the enemy is driving you towards this foreign land, and you find yourself like, oh my God, where am I?
Yeah, then you're stuck.
It's crazy, man. Let's talk about finances in a marriage.
True.
Which is one of the reasons why a lot of people, they get divorced. As a man would have a job, you know, or a business, and the business doesn't work, or the job, they fire him or something, or he leaves, you know. And the wife is used to, you know, luxury lifestyle and all that, you know. Why do you think so many marriages are getting, people are getting divorced because of finances?
I like what you spoke about, luxury lifestyle. We need to desist. We need to stay away from this indoor-da must narrative, indoor-da this, indoor-da must narratives, where men are pleased as blessers. This is marriage. This is not a fund, a feeding scheme. Marriage has become a feeding scheme. If you're hungry, if you want to be fed, get a guy who's wealthy. When are we going to talk about to our girl kids and say, get a degree and stuff? I've got 2 kids, 2 daughters, then 1 boy. And I need to teach my 2 girl children right to say, go get a degree. Marriage is not a feeding scheme. We need to go back to marriage values, the pure marriage values, for better or worse, for rich or for poor, in sickness and health. This is to say, if you get married, it's okay if you get married to a rich guy, if God has blessed you, but that should not be the main objective. This is to say, if you get married, life could change. There could be suddenlies. Be ready for the highs in life and be ready for the lows in life. If your husband loses a job, your responsibility is to stick in there, is to stand with him up until he gets back on his feet. This is not to encourage laziness amongst men, to say that you just quit your job and you sit at home and say, my wife has to support me. But I'm saying if you've lost a job genuinely and you're trying so hard to get a job, the responsibility of your wife is to stand with you. Finally, both parties have to be ready to build their empire. You put in the energy as a man. As a woman, you put in the energy, and that's what makes a marriage work. But yes, finances do affect marriages. Money is needed. When there's no money, there's stress. When there's money, aglalek. You need money for you to be able to, access the opportunities you want in life. Go for the holiday vacations you want. Take your children to the schools that you want to take them to. When there's no money, you go through stress and the critical hormone is depleted. The feel-good hormone which is responsible for your sex life. So oftentimes, when you're under stress, your sex life is affected. So moolah is needed.
100%. What's your advice to a man who is disrespected at the moment in his marriage because of finances? The woman doesn't, respect him and all that. He feels disrespected.
I would say he has to address that. If he's working hard, we need to unpack what is provision. Provision doesn't mean a man has got to earn more than his wife, because life is dynamic. If we're going to say a man has got to always earn more than his wife, then we place ourselves under unnecessary pressure, because life is dynamic. Today you could be earning, for example, 70,000 rands, and tomorrow your wife could overtake you. Does it mean you'll always fight to overtake your wife? That's stupidity. This is marriage. We have to work together. So we need to understand that the man not only brings finances into the marriage, but he also brings a vision into the marriage. So if he brings a decent income at home, he has provided, and that's it. And he deserves respect, because at the end of the day, he provides leadership, which is a vital element in the marriage. A man could earn more than his wife, but if he's not there to provide leadership, that woman is in trouble. So if he provides a decent income, he deserves a respect. If he's not getting that respect, he has to address that. And we need to speak to men to say that we need to be men at the end of the day, not dictators, but men, which means nothing should go wrong in your home under your watch. If your wife is disrespectful, you tell her in the most loving manner to say, you know what, I feel disrespected. If you want this marriage to continue, you have to treat me in a respectful manner. So you have to correct things. That's what a leader does. If that doesn't work, go for marriage therapy. Many times men complain, she's disrespectful, she's physical. My question to you as a man, as a leader, what have you done about it? We can't keep blaming women. At the end of the day, you are a leader in that home and you need to enforce leadership. You need to do something. Go get help. You can't keep complaining. Do something about the situation. Then if you speaking to her has failed, therapy has failed, your family and elders have failed, then that woman is not worth being your wife.
Wow.
You have a full right to divorce that woman. And a woman that doesn't respect a hardworking man, a loving man, is an unwise woman. Your Bible calls such a woman a foolish woman. It actually says it's better for a man to go stay in the wilderness than for him to stay with a talkative wife.
Speaking about the Bible, you are a pastor. How important is sex in a marriage? Because a lot of pastors, they wouldn't really, talk about...
We become spiritual.
Yeah, it's like, how important is sex in a marriage?
What I like is that the Bible is very practical. It's us who just become intoxicated in this spirituality thing. The Bible is solution for practical living. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 5 says, do not deprive each other sexually, unless it's for a temporal time of fasting and prayer, and both of you have given each other consent. Which means the Bible is aware that there could be possibilities of starving each other sexually, and the Bible is against that. The Bible says, have sex and a lot of sex. And if there's no sex in the home, there's a problem. In marriage, we are there to service each other. Everyone has got to be satisfied. If we're not satisfying each other, we are failing blatantly in our cause. So sex is important.
You must have sex like you guys are dating.
Yes. That's why marriages die, because when people get married, they relax. They stop dating. Go back to the early days. You used to have sex, make time for sex. I know there are kids. I know there's work. You get fatigued, but you need to make time for sex. If you come back in the evening, you're tired. The question is when? When are we going to have it? Oh, in the morning. In the morning, we wake up, brush our teeth, get into action. Always be ready to meet each other's needs. It's important. Because if we don't take care of each other's sexual needs, someone could be pushed further away and they find themselves in trouble somewhere.
How dangerous is lust?
Too dangerous, if not managed. Too dangerous, if not managed. At times, some people can make decisions based on lust. And there's a difference between lust and love. Some also get married to people out of lust. They just saw curves. A big mistake. Sustaining a marriage is not curves. It doesn't take curves to sustain a marriage. Someone could have curves but be empty upstairs. Someone could have biceps, six-pack, but be empty upstairs. So love has longevity. Lust is about an erection. Once the erection is down, you're out of that marriage. Some people got married out of an erection. The erection went down. They realized, I don't love this person. Marry someone that you love. If you love someone, what is love? Love is commitment. If you love someone, even when the erection is down, you are committed to them. If you love someone, even when they have stretch marks, you are committed to them. If you love someone, even if they could get involved in a car accident, your husband gets amputated, you still love them. You are committed to them. If you love someone, even if they go broke, you're still going to be in the marriage because love is commitment. So lust can be dangerous. Lust could drive you to do stuff that's out of your character. Some people, I meet clients of mine, some who are addicted into porn, into buying sex, prostitutes. You find someone, they are always knocking off at work, early at work. Even at work, their performance has gone down. Because at 3 p.m., they always have to slide out somewhere. And they go and spend money. They buy sex. And eventually, it catches up with them. Their partner discovers. That's lust. Lust leads you to pornography. And you find yourself hooked, addicted.
Pornography can really destroy a man.
Can damage someone. Some women too are addicted. It could destroy them. But yeah, all parties just need to be careful of lust. Don't entertain lust.
Yeah. You always have so many people coming into your office. What is the one common issue that couples have?
The one common issue is communication. Contrary to popular belief, it's not cheating. Yes, cheating is there. I deal with about 4 cases of cheating on a daily basis.
Okay.
But the number one problem is communication. You know, you might have cheated, but as long as you are willing to communicate as a couple and as long as you can communicate, that marriage can be salvaged. But the moment we cannot talk, or the moment we have poor communication skills and we cannot engage, the marriage is going down. So I've seen many marriages die because communication ceased or because we cannot communicate. Communication is an art. It's not just opening your mouth. We know that we've communicated if we've reached the final stage of communication, which is resolve. Many couples don't get to the stage of resolve. They resolve nothing. They talk, someone starts a discussion, but it's never resolved. We sweep stuff under the carpet. So communication is one big killer. We don't communicate on finances, on sex life. We don't communicate about our feelings, about our grievances. Then you find yourself drifting apart.
That's crazy, hey? It's insane. One of the things that I had issues with in my life is, trying to understand. I actually felt like my lady was trying to change me, and I was trying to push back.
I understand.
Don't change me. Don't change me. Don't change me. It only took time to understand that no, this lady is actually trying to make me better.
Yeah.
As time goes on, because I would leave my cup here.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
And would fight about that. I've been telling you, don't leave this.
Yeah.
Don't leave this here. Don't leave this here. And I was trying to fight back, only to realize later that no, I'm actually supposed to respond and act on what she's concerned about.
Yeah.
And I find it very interesting to see so many couples divorcing or breaking up because of just the small
petty things.
Then I realized later that small things, they actually matter. You can provide your lady with money, with everything, but you can struggle with small
things, yeah.
And then it might snap out, and then she might leave.
Yeah.
How important are small things?
Small things are very important because they are connected to our emotions. It's about paying attention to detail, It's no use paying attention to the bigger picture and leaving the smaller things, how you make someone feel. If someone feels inconvenienced by whatsoever small thing, it's major to them. It might be small to you, but it's major to them. So it's important to deal with it. If not dealt with in a prolonged period, it could affect the marriage. That means we need to go back to our Ubuntu. When it comes to our Ubuntu, it means we have to be sensitive enough. Be sensitive, Think about the next person. What makes them uncomfortable, be able to hear them out.
Jeez, man, we're running out of time. But I wanted to talk about in-laws.
That's a big one.
It's something else, And you'd find that as a man, I'm married, but I'm also connected to my mom somehow. Yes, I'm connected to her because I'm her son. But it's like everything that happens in my marriage, I always have to speak to her. She's doing this. She's doing that. How do you? I know it's a big topic.
It's a big topic.
How do you find a way to differentiate your wife, your in-laws from your wife's side, and also your family, so that these two families, they don't come inside your marriage and mess the marriage up?
I'll summarize it like this.
Yeah.
Boys have to stay home. Girls have to stay home. Men and women have to be married. Only men and women have to be married. Now, how do we differentiate if someone is a man or a woman? It's not by age. Someone could be 60 years of age, but they could be a boy or a girl. How do we know if you're a boy or a girl? You always consult. You don't own your life. If someone marries you, understand that they've come to you, not your parents. And as much as your parents matter, we have to respect parents, but you are a man, which means they are looking, especially if you're married to a woman, she's looking for direction from you, and you are fully responsible for her. And you cannot afford to say to her, Mommy says, Daddy says. If you've got an ID, on el pass, like South Africa, you're an adult. The government sees you as an adult. Therefore, you need to act as an adult. If you pay rent for yourself, you can't afford to be consulting. What destroys marriages is people adding the third party. Two is a couple, third is a crowd. Once you are married, you need to understand you are building your own life. And you need to do things according to your culture as a couple. You respect your family culture, where you're coming from. But when you're building your home, you're building your own home, and you need to have your own culture. When it comes to my kids, I raised them my way. My parents raised me their way. So it's my time now. Once I've raised my kids, my time will be up. I'm not getting ready to be involved in their affairs. They'll be adults. They've got their own brains, and they will need to do things according to their own ways. And number one killer in marriage also is that proclivity, the toxic habit of always running home to involve family members. One thing I like about myself, in our 13 years of being married, I've never run home to disclose a problem. There's power in that. I see many couples, many a times they divorce because they've told family people stuff about their marriage. You see, when you tell family members stuff about your marriage, number one, you expose your marriage. Number two, people lose respect for your partner. They lose respect for your marriage. For example, if your wife tells her family members about something that concerns you, her family members lose respect for you. Same thing if you tell your sisters, for example, that your wife is not a good cook. They lose respect for her. They feel also they are entitled to share an opinion. So they start disrespecting your wife. You determine if people will respect or disrespect your partner. You determine. If people are disrespectful, if you're an adult, you are able to tell them, this is off bounds. This is not your place. One of the things we lack is that maturity, those boundaries, to tell people where to get off. It's a lot. You can keep asking questions. It's just a lot.
But thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Pastor, I don't know, are you pastor or mister?
I'm Mr.,
okay.
But I lead a church.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's Pastor Bakhe Dlamini.
In public, in the work I do, when it comes to my practice, I just like to be called Bakhe or Mr. Dlamini.
Okay.
Or when it comes on Sunday,
yeah,
I'm Pastor Dlamini at church.
Where's your church?
In Midrand.
Okay.
Halfway house. You could just check our pages. you could find the address. But it's a vibrant church.
Okay.
It's a fun-filled church with a lot of couples and a lot of young people, singles.
Yeah. So anybody that wants to come, they
Pop by. It's a blast. It's a blast. Wonderful music, wonderful preaching.
There's somebody out there who's having issues with their marriage, whether it's a man or it's a woman or both of them. How do they reach you?
They reach me through my socials. When you get into my Facebook page, there's a WhatsApp button there. When you click, it leads you to our WhatsApp office number. Then they get help in that manner. They go to my website, also Bakhe Dlamini.co.za. I'm all over TikTok, Instagram. I'm all over.
Yeah. How many books have you written?
5 books.
Wow. How can people get them?
They can get them through my website. They can get them through my office numbers. We deliver nationwide through courier, so it's not a stress.
Okay. No, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure, Justice. It's been a pleasure.
I've learned a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure.